Hey guys, welcome to Culinary by Eden. Today I want to introduce you to my brother Javon. He's going to be here with us, and we're going to be preparing Ghanaian jollof rice and baked chicken. There are literally hundreds of ways to make Ghanaian jollof rice, and we're going to show you just one. What I call this one is a one pot. So we're going to be doing everything in one pot. We're going to start today with seasoning our chicken. So join us as we take you through this journey. We hope you enjoy it and learn something new. Okay, so we're gonna start with our chicken leg quarters. We have 6 leg quarters. These have already been cleaned. We have taken off the excess fat and also that big piece of bone that's on here. We will show you how to do that in another video, but for today, we're just gonna go through the seasoning process. So Javon is gonna handle that while I change my gloves and get ready to season them. So go ahead and put them in the bowl, Javon.
Just putting them in a bowl here, and once we get the seasoning going, every single piece of chicken is going to get a nice seasoning. So just throw them all in a bowl, something very, very simple. I get rid of that. So what types of seasonings are you using for the chicken?
So we're gonna go through each of the seasonings that we have for the chicken. This is not any particular recipe. Typically with Ghanaian West African cooking, the goal is for it to just taste good and to be flavorful. So I'm gonna start with some Knorr chicken bouillon that gives chicken a really nice flavor. This is one of my favorite go-tos when cooking.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
And I'm gonna put about 1 tablespoon in here. You know, growing up, I would ask my mom how much goes in there. She's like, I don't know, just put whatever in there that you need to. So we're gonna put 1 tablespoon of the Knorr chicken bouillon. I have some black pepper here. And I'm only gonna put a teaspoon of black pepper so that it's not too overbearing. I have some garlic powder. And you could use any brand. This is Kirkland. But you could use any brand. And I use about 3/4 of a teaspoon with the garlic powder. I also have Kinder's Buttery Poultry Blend, which has a mix of different seasonings in here. There's some butter flavor in there. There's gonna be some poultry seasoning in there, and an assortment of other things. One thing that you should be careful of and try to do with your spices is check salt level. Because a lot of these spices have salt mixed inside of them, and so you don't want to over salt your food. This one over here is called RU Spice. This is actually from a friend of mine, Richard. He lives in Toronto, Canada, and him and his wife came up with this spice line. It has some black pepper in there, ginger, garlic, onion, fresh rosemary, thyme, and fennel seed. So again, be careful with your spices because some of them repeat. Like you notice we put some garlic powder in here, but this also has some garlic powder in it. So we'll just sprinkle some on there.
So that's right. You're not really overpowering it with one certain spice over another because all your spices have that in there.
Correct.
It's very good. Good way to think of that.
Yes, sir. This we have some organic rosemary. I like how rosemary tastes on chicken. So we're gonna put some rosemary on there. Just about a teaspoon and a half. Because you really want to think about with your spices, not putting too much of any one spice so that they don't dominate or overtake. Unless that's your liking. Some people really like garlic, so they're gonna go in on the garlic. Your friends might not talk to you very closely if you do that, but. And then this one over here, sorry, this is Old Bay seasoning. I like Old Bay. This is a bit of Creole Cajun spice. It's got some kick to it. So we'll put a teaspoon of Old Bay.
You don't have to necessarily use that for seafood only. It can also go for chicken.
Right. Does it say that? Yeah, it says chicken, shrimp, and crabs. So there you go. Now, a lot of these do have salt, but I'm just gonna put maybe about half a teaspoon of salt. And the reason is because I also like to use Lowry's seasoning salt, which is salt, but it has a nice flavor. So we're gonna put about 1/2 to 3/4 of salt. You do want to make sure that enough salt gets into your chicken so that it has flavor in there. Jovan, you could use your finger and This is ginger garlic paste, homemade ginger garlic paste. It's fresh garlic, fresh ginger, a little bit of olive oil, and a little bit of turmeric. That's what's giving it that color. So you can go ahead and put that in there.
Absolutely. Put that in there. We should get all that goodness out of there. Here we go.
And then we're gonna put the, Lowry seasoning salt, about 3/4 of a teaspoon in there as well, and sprinkle that on. And then Jovan is going to, the chicken is now going to the chicken spa, and Jovan is gonna massage it all into it.
Make sure every piece gets well incorporated. Make sure every single piece gets some of all of that goodness on there.
Rub it in real good.
Ah, that's what I'm doing.
Best spa treatment this chicken ever got.
That's right.
So again, like what Jovan is doing, rubbing, massaging the seasoning into the chicken helps it penetrate through the skin, the fibers, and give it that nice flavor when it's done, so that when you eat it, it's delicious.
And what I like to do also is sometimes the seasoning can get like on the bottom of and on the sides of the bowl or whatever you might have.
Yeah.
Just go in and still grab it all and just put it all on there. Again, making sure every single piece gets a nice coating of all of that goodness that's on there.
That's a good point. You definitely don't want to waste any of the seasoning.
No, not at all.
Now, typically what's good to do is after you season your meat, let it sit and marinate for 2 to 3 hours. If you can do it overnight, if you have the time, that's great. If you plan ahead, then your chicken can absorb more of the seasoning that it's sitting in.
There we go. I think that's pretty good. Oh yeah. Good stuff.
All right, so we have our seasoned chicken here. It's been sitting for a little bit, so the spices have been able to penetrate into the skin, to the fibers, so it's gonna be delicious. We have also a pre-greased Pyrex pan, what we're gonna set it in. And Jovan's gonna go ahead and do that for us so we can get this in the oven.
And another thing that you can do also is once you grease your pan, this leg's about to fall away. There we go. What you could do also is throw some seasoning on the bottom of your pan. So whatever you season your chicken or whatever protein you have, you can also put that on the bottom just to give it a little bit of extra yumminess in there.
I like that. I like And see how he's putting it in the pan? You don't have to do this, but I like to line my chicken up so that the bones are all going in the same direction. And you'll find that sometimes it gets a little bit tight. You can just maneuver. Like it's kind of like, what's that game? That Tetris.
Oh, yeah.
So you gotta fit them in. There you go.
Get that in there. We all gotta have some little place to go.
And then we definitely I recommend baking your chicken skin side up. Let's turn that one. I feel like I see it. Turn it this the other way. Yeah.
Doesn't want to cooperate. There we go.
And then this
Love when chicken cooperates.
last piece we're gonna have to stick in. I feel like we'll be right over here. And then we can just move some over somehow. And guys, have fun when you're cooking. Like,
Oh yeah, you gotta have fun.
You don't have to do it like how we do it. We're just teaching you the technique with doing it, but as long as it accomplishes the same goal, which is delicious food, you're good.
But it's always good to have fun, especially if you have someone that you enjoy cooking with that enjoys cooking as well.
Yeah.
Once you get into the kitchen, just have a lot of fun. That's what it's all about.
Yes, I agree. All right, so this is ready to go, and our oven has been preheated to 350 degrees. So we're gonna bake it at 350 for about an hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes. And then after that, we're going to crank up the heat to broil so that we can crisp the top. So we preheated our oven. In goes the chicken. We're gonna close this. And we're gonna bake time for 1 hour and 10 minutes. And let's go. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, we're also gonna be doing a Ghanaian Jaloff rice, which we're gonna be using beef for that recipe. This is beef chuck steaks. Typically what I like to use is stew beef, which is little cubes, but I wasn't able to get that today. So I have this pre-washed beef chuck, and Javon's gonna cut it into little cubes so that we can get started with that, and then we're gonna season it as well.
So I'll be the cuber for today.
You'll be the
So what
cuber.
I'm gonna do is get a very sharp knife. So oftentimes it's really good to really have a very sharp knife when you're cutting meats. That way you won't run the risk of either cutting yourself or really damaging the meat. So just taking a regular knife and getting a knife sharpener and just running it through several times just to get a nice, good sharpening on your knife. See, you always have to be careful so you won't slip out of your hand. But do that, run it a few times. And what I like to do also, once I get done, just in case there's some shards on there, I just like to clean that off so that none of the metal will go into the meat itself. So we're just gonna take it, and I'm gonna cube it in the fourths. I'm gonna take it, cube it. Always be mindful to tuck in your fingers so you won't cut your fingers off. So we want meat in there, not hand meat, but regular meat, and we'll put it in there.
No, we don't want no fingers.
No fingers at all.
Unless they're lady fingers. Lady fingers are good. The chocolate.
Oh yeah, that's always good. No human lady fingers, just lady fingers, the dessert. So we're just gonna just cut those into fours with our nice sharp knife.
Yeah, I know Javon touched on the sharp knife, but it's nothing like cutting anything with a sharp knife. When your knives are dull, it's not cool.
It's not cool, and it makes your work harder.
Yeah.
So as you can see, the ease in which, it's almost like cutting through butter. It's just so easy to cut it through with so much ease and no resistance. And our last piece. So this one, because it's a bigger piece, you may have to cut it a little bit finer, but hey, that's what we got a sharp knife for. We can do that. It's just really, really easy, really, and we put all that in there, and then we'll go in with our seasonings.
Okay, so we're gonna season our beef here so it's nice and flavorful. You'll realize or notice that some of the spices that we're using on the beef are similar to what we put on our chicken. So we're gonna go in with some black pepper. And black pepper on beef is a game changer. I don't know if you have not put black pepper on your beef, but you need to because it's the truth.
It is really good.
So we put a teaspoon of black pepper, and I'll put a teaspoon of garlic powder. We're gonna put a teaspoon of onion powder.
So all those good flavors.
Yeah, onion and garlic in your cuisine is a game changer. I have what we call Maggi seasoning. It's like an aromatic flavor, kind of like Worcestershire sauce. It just doesn't have that vinegar type of base, similar to the soy sauce.
It smells a lot like soy sauce.
Yeah. So this, I just go in probably maybe like a couple of.
One more. There you go.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really
It
good.
smells really good too.
I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of sea salt on there. We really like flavor over here, so I'm also going in with some Knorr beef bouillon, similar to what the chicken was, but this is a beef base, and it just brings out some good flavor in your food. And I'm gonna put the equivalent of 1 teaspoon, so this is 2 halves. And then the beef is also gonna go to the massage parlor, and Javon is gonna massage.
And we're off. There we go. And again, making sure that I'm squeezing all of the seasonings into the beef. Whatever's on the side, definitely gonna get that. Whatever's on the bottom, I'm gonna get that. But just making sure that every single piece has a good amount of seasoning, because what you don't want is to get a piece and be like, hey, it's not seasoned. But the other 5 pieces have been seasoned, right? So just making sure it just gets all in there. Just make it all happy. Everybody's in the pool at the same time, just having a great time and getting the same seasoning. So
Yes. We believe
how's that looking?
in seasoning equality.
Yes, right. No beef will be left behind.
That looks good.
Excellent. There we go.
And it smells good. Like if you guys could smell this.
That smells really good.
Yeah, it's amazing. Let me tell you guys a quick backstory. My sense and taste has been going in and out, and I'm a foodie. I love to eat. And so I just kept praying, asking God to bring this back so that I could taste and eat food the way it is. And let me tell you, yesterday, at this time, I couldn't smell, but glory to God, I can smell today.
There it is.
So I'm excited about eating and tasting this food.
I am too, and nothing has been wrong with my smell or taste, so I'm excited about this as well.
Praise God for that. All right, let's get ready. To get our jollof rice started, we're gonna start with an onion and also our beef that we have marinating right now. We'll get into that here in a few minutes, but Jovan is gonna slice the onion for the base of the red stew that we're gonna make to cook the jollof rice in. So go ahead and show them how to do it, bro.
Will do. So one quick hack that you can do, so oftentimes when you have a cutting board and you try to cut, it's gonna move. So one quick hack that you can do is take either a wet paper towel or a wet dish towel, set it under there, and voila, it won't move. I'm trying to move this. Well, of course I moved it, but you already know. So it's not gonna move as it was before if you didn't have it on there.
That's good.
So we're just gonna have just chop that, and then we're just gonna do some very thin to medium slices, and you just let me know if that's good enough for you.
That's perfect. I was going to say don't try this at home, but we want you to try this at home. Just be careful.
Because, again, the claw method, got to make sure that that your hands and fingers are coming over the vegetable or the onions and whatever you're going to cut.
Yeah.
And just making sure that you are, again, being very careful and following. So once you get toward the end of the onion, just flip it down and turn it, and then you can continue to make your thin slices like that. It's really, really easy. And also to avoid crying, what you could do also is to make sure that you have a good sharp knife and that you're chopping down versus chopping that way. So that will, from my understanding and from what my experience is and just hearing from kind of all the pros, definitely have to have a sharp knife.
Yeah.
Again, turn it around and do the same thing.
Beautiful.
And we will not waste anything there.
No, sir.
And as you can see, we have some nice little round pieces there that we can just dump all into the bowl. Just like to separate it just to make sure that we have however it's going to go into the pot and however it's going to be cooked, that you have a nice even thingy of onions down there, so everything cooks at the same rate, and then all that goodness will go into everyone's belly.
That's what you want. You want the goodness.
Oh yeah. We think about that and we talk about the goodness of God, but we're going to have the goodness of food too.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
So again, we're just breaking this apart. Again, so once we put it in the pot, that we'll have a really nice even coating of the vegetables, and we're good to go.
Yeah, and the onions are essential for good flavor in your stew base. It's a great aromatic. Some people add fresh garlic. We're not going to do that. We'll show you what we're going to do here in a minute.
Just make sure again, we don't want to leave anything behind. Just get that in there, and voila.
We also, in our stew base, are going to go in with some petite diced tomatoes. You could use fresh diced, but this is easier. It does the job, so we're going to use this, and then we're also going to go in with some tomato sauce. So we'll show you the process of that once we get to it. Okay, so we have our oil preheated here in a pot, and we've put about 3/4 of a cup of oil. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and put our seasoned beef in there so that it could brown. So typically, like for jollof rice, you would have pre-boiled your seasoned beef, and then after that you would fry it. But we're doing everything in one pot here today.
And I'm sure what you want to do also is to make sure that every piece of beef is touching the pot. So you just want every piece to make sure it has a good sear on it, like that. And we'll let it cook, and we'll let it, and then we'll turn it. And then eventually we're going to take it out. So what's going to happen also, and Eve, you let me know if I'm on the right track, is once we brown this meat, it's going to be a lot of goodness on the bottom.
Yeah.
So once we start to put our vegetables in and start to assemble it, all that darkness on the bottom is flavor, and we want all of that flavor in there.
Definitely.
So we just kind of move it in, so making sure that every piece is in the oil, and I think that's pretty good.
And we're gonna leave that for about 2 minutes, and then we're gonna come back and check on it. So we'll cover it up, and then come check on it. It smells amazing.
It's gonna look amazing. It's gonna be amazing. Here we go.
So remember, there's 2 sets of hands. Mine are a little bit darker than Javon's, but we're gonna flip the meat over.
Both hands are anointed, though.
Yes.
Oh, look at that! Look at that flavor. Oh, that's beautiful.
It looks delicious. So basically, we're bypassing that step of boiling our meat down and then frying it. We're doing everything in this one pot to, one, save some time, but accomplish the same goal.
Oh, that has some beautiful color on it. Just gonna flip that thing around, flip that thing around, flip that thing around like that.
It looks delicious. And it smells delicious too.
Oh yeah.
And you get that smell, that Maggi sauce that we put on there. You can really smell that. It's just so good for your beef.
I wish you all had smell-o-vision to be able to smell this too. So this is smelling really, really good. We're just flipping it and flipping it and flipping it around. Boy, this is gonna be good. Really, really, really good. All right. And if you can see kind of on the bottom how it's kind of browning at the bottom, again, that's all flavor. That's all good stuff that's going to be incorporated into the stew. So it's going to be good. So we're going to cover that back up again here, or just leave it the way it is?
Yes, that's the evidence of goodness. I see the evidence of the goodness all over this beef.
I see the evidence. Sorry, I'll stick to my day job.
All right. So we're ready to get this beef out. Look at that.
Oh, that is looking absolutely amazing. All right, so we're just going to take this out.
Yes. And it's not fully cooked. Like if you were ordering steak at a restaurant, I would probably classify this as medium well. But this beef is going to cook again once it goes into the stew. It's going to saute in there, so it's going to get fully cooked. We just wanted to brown it up some.
Oh, that is looking absolutely amazing. I could just eat this right now, but I can't because it's not part of the recipe. So I'm going to follow the recipe.
So that's a running joke in most West African homes. If you know, you know. When meat is fried, before it goes into stew, a lot of times it disappears because people will run in the kitchen and just take one. So I remember when my mom used to make this, she would hide the meat after she fried it because my dad would eat it, I would eat it. So in goes our onion. And we're just gonna let that saute till they turn transparent. And while Javon is doing that, I'm gonna get some spices ready. Actually, we'll let it saute a bit before we throw in the spices. Saute for probably about a minute or 2, and then we're gonna start throwing in our spices and seasonings.
Oh, this is smelling and looking really good. Can't wait, can't wait. It's gonna be awesome.
Cover it up and let it simmer for about 2 minutes.
There you go.
So now we're gonna start putting in some of our seasoning. We're gonna go in with about a teaspoon of curry powder. And just dump that in and then mix it up. We're gonna let our curry powder cook through.
Oh man.
Smells good. Huh?
Oh wow. That kind of hits you right in the nostrils. This is good. Some good aromatic spices hitting some hot oil or hot pan. Yeah, you're gonna smell it immediately, and it is amazing.
Yeah, it's flavor packed. The trick to a really good jollof rice is to have a good tasting stew.
Mm-hmm.
If your stew doesn't taste good or your sauce doesn't taste good, your jollof rice is gonna be not good. So let's put in some of that ginger garlic paste in there as well. And you go ahead and stir that up.
these flavors are mashing well together. It smells so good.
And I find also, like personally, when I make jollof rice, I feel like less is best, even though we are putting a good amount of different spices and seasoning in there. You don't want to overdo it because that could also tip your jollof rice over the top and just make it not so great. So while the onion, the curry, the ginger garlic paste is simmering, we're gonna wait probably about a minute or two, and then we'll go ahead and add some other things in there. So we're gonna go ahead and stir that some more.
Ooh. Oh yeah. Some nice fond on the bottom. See, that dark stuff is what they call fond. And it's flavor. Fond equals flavor. Always remember that.
But make sure it's fond and not burnt.
Absolutely. Because once we start to put liquids in there, you can even scrape the bottom and all that stuff is going to come out. And again, it's going to be that much additional added flavor to the dish itself. So, good stuff.
So we're going to go in and put our diced petite tomatoes in there. We'll mix it up.
Mix it on up. Mix it on up.
So all of these, like the onions are pretty much going to disintegrate into the sauce, so you're not going to see them. I know some people, I have some family members who will not eat food if they see onions in there. And they'll disappear once they go in the sauce and the rice and everything like that goes in there. So let's go ahead and put in our anise seed. And mix it up.
So anise or anise, however you want to pronounce it. Either way, 6, half a dozen, same thing.
But it also adds like a nice, almost like a, not licorice, because I don't know, but it has like a, kind of like a licorice flavor to it. But you want to be careful not to put too much, so it's not overpowering.
That's good.
Stew. And then let's go in and add our cayenne pepper. Now this is really up to you. Some people, like my mom, likes her stew to be fire. Her food is all fire. You taste more fire in my mom's cooking than anything else. But I am not one of those people, sorry. I do like a little kick, but not too much.
Duly noted. So if I'm ever at your house and your mom is there, I know to come with some milk or water so I can tame that heat, huh?
Yes. Because for her, if it's not spicy, it's not food.
Ah, got it.
All right, and let's go in with our onion powder. So that's everything is pretty much about a teaspoon of each spice that we put in there, and you can adjust that according to the quantity of food that you're going to make. But we're going to be cooking about 6 cups of rice, and so we want to make sure there's a good balance and nothing is overtaking any part of the sauce. And then you can go ahead and add the beef bouillon. We have some beef bouillon that we're putting in there.
Beef bouillon.
Yep. Mix that up.
It's coming together really, really good. Almost want to just get a piece of crusty bread and just eat it as the way it is.
You probably can.
Right.
And now we're gonna go in with about a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. And you don't wanna waste anything. So you take your sauce and you run some water in the can, shake it around, and just dump that in there.
Yep. And again, all of that liquid is gonna get that fond off the bottom. It's gonna be that much added flavor. And here's that water. Just swish it around in there, get that in there. Ooh. Looking good, looking good, looking good.
So to me, making jollof rice is like art. Every canvas is unique to the artist, and so you can season your jollof rice how you please. But my recommendation is to not overdo it with spices, and make sure your spices connect and talk with each other. you know, that they complement each other. Some spices don't pair well. Now we're gonna go ahead and add the beef into this. Because we didn't go with that other method of boiling your beef and then frying it, we're gonna put it in the sauce so that it sautés and also will absorb the flavor of the stew. And now that the beef is in there, let's go ahead and add, I really like the Maggi aromat, so we're adding about a half a cup into the stew. And then we're gonna add a teaspoon of salt. We're gonna stir it up, and then we're gonna let it simmer for about 8 to 10 minutes.
Oh, that is amazing. Can I taste it now? Can I taste it now? No.
Yeah, let's wait. But you do want to taste it before you put your rice in. That's a good point. Just to see if you need to adjust your salt level.
Gotcha.
I know people throw in spices at any given time, but you want your spices to cook down into the stew. So you want to make sure if you're doing any adjusting, you do it earlier or sooner than later.
And is it safe to say that once you want the beef submerged into the sauce so that it gets that much more tender?
Yes. Yeah, because the beef now, so like I said before, it's a one pot jollof rice. The beef was fried, simmered, or seared, and now it's put into the sauce to simmer in the sauce, and then we're gonna add rice to it. So by the time this is ready, the beef is gonna be like pull apart beef, but still intact.
Oh, it's gonna be good.
So here we are, we're gonna give it a stir.
Again, scrape that goodness off the bottom.
So typically, like when you're making sauces and stews, like the West African way, you want to see your oil surface to the top. That's an indication that it's cooked through. And you also want to make sure you cook it through to get rid of some of that tartness from the canned tomatoes that you use. But bear in mind, we started off with, this is a one pot, and we started off with 3/4 of a cup of oil. So we're really not gonna get that much oil on the surface because we didn't use an excessive amount. So I think we're ready to go in with our rice.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna be using jasmine Thai Hom Mali rice. And this rice is about 4 cups of rice. I said we would use 6 earlier, but we're only gonna go with 4 cups. And it's been pre-washed already to get rid of some of the dirt, extra salt. Yeah. Get all in there.
No rice left behind. There we go.
So I'll give a round of applause to Javon. He's doing an amazing job.
Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm here all week.
All week? I thought you were here all month.
Oh, yeah, that too. If you need me all month, I'll be here. All right, there we go. That should be good.
I'll take that.
Sure. And we just stir that in.
Yeah, so we're gonna stir that all in. The thing about jasmine rice is some rice requires a lot of water to cook. So looking at the ratio of sauce or stew to rice, we're not gonna add any water to this. We're gonna let it cook. And then once we go in and check on it, if we see that it needs a little bit more moisture, we will add more. Because you can't subtract moisture, but you could add some. And you do not want this to be mushy. You kind of want to see the individual grains of rice when it's ready. And it looks really good.
Really good. And again, you see me going back and forth like this. Again, just making sure that I get everything off of the bottom, all that fond off the bottom. Because fond equals what? Flavor.
And goodness.
Oh yeah. Flavor and goodness.
With the cooking process, some people cook their rice on the stove top. I like to bake mine in the oven. So it kind of gets like a convection heat going around the pot as opposed to all the heat coming from the bottom. It also prohibits or prevents you getting a lot of burn and waste on the bottom of your rice. So we're gonna cover this up and then we are going to probably let it simmer for, like, see how you see it starting to bubble? If we get a little bit closer in there. See some little tiny bubbles here and there. We are going to let it simmer for probably about 3-4 minutes and then we're gonna transfer it to the oven to bake. So we're just coming to check on our chicken. It's doing pretty good. It's been in there for a little bit more than an hour and 10. I would say probably right now it's been about an hour and 30, but that's because we have it on 350 It's not on a very high heat because we want it to cook evenly. We don't want like that rubbery taste. We want it to be nice and tender. Not completely fall off the bone, but almost fall off the bone. So I would say let's give the chicken maybe another 15 minutes or so, and then we're gonna broil to brown the top. So we're gonna go in and check our rice before we transfer it to the oven. 350 as well. We're gonna pop it in there, and I'll say about 35 minutes, and then we'll come back and check on it. So we're just gonna zoom in on this chicken. As you can see, it's cooking. You can see the juices are bubbling on the bottom, and it looks pretty good. I just like my chicken a little bit darker, so we're gonna kick it up a notch, and we're gonna broil now, so that it darkens up the chicken. It's probably gonna broil. The thing about broil is you really want to be careful. Don't broil your chicken and go watch a sitcom because you are gonna be sad. You wanna broil it probably 5 minutes, but really keep an eye on it because the temperature has gone up to about 550 degrees, and that's gonna darken real quick. So our chicken has browned nicely.
Look at that brownness.
Again, we don't want it to be black, but we want it to look nice and roasted. So the chicken is done, and we're gonna go ahead and take that out right now.
All right, we're gonna chop our vegetables now. So I wanna show you a quick hack on how to peel and do your garlic. So instead of trying to peel all of it off, all you can do, lay it on your cutting board, keep the sharp part away from you, give it a quick whack, and look at there. Okay. Then you peel all of that off and get it good and minced up, and I'll just do the same thing with this one.
Well, I'll be trying that.
Give it a good whack, just whack that thing. There we go. And the paper and the skin comes right off. And then all you do is just give it a quick mince. Just chop it and just get it all minced up. So a mince is just a very, very, very small dice. So you don't bite into the garlic and get like a whole mouthful of garlic, which won't be good and folks don't want to talk to you. But just kind of go in.
Smells good.
It releases all of the good garlicky flavor.
We like flavor.
Yes, lots of flavors. Think that's good enough, or should I go a little bit finer?
I think it's good.
All right.
I think it's good.
Excellent. So just get that onto the plate.
The thing I find about garlic, because it's very pungent, like when it gets on your fingers, you want to make sure you wash those bad boys.
Absolutely.
You will have garlic hands.
For days. And all we're doing here is just pretty much dicing up our vegetables. So give those a nice. And what you want to do is try to keep them the same size. So again, everything cooks at the same time and cooks evenly. So what you don't want is having some that's really cooked the way it's supposed to, and then you having some that's not as the same size, and it's not still crunchy, still raw, which is still good. But for the purposes of this dish, I'm sure you don't want it all to be all different sizes, but pretty uniform in size. And as you can see, we've already de-seeded it. Taking all the seeds out, taking some of the ribs out. And again, we're just gonna give them those small dice here. Small to medium dice, depending on how you want it. So again, as you can see, they're all the same size.
I want to throw a look at God moment. So when we de-seeded the pepper, it had like hundreds of seeds, I would say. So this one pepper produced hundreds of seeds that will create hundreds of more peppers. So
there you go.
Amazing, thinking about God's hand in things and how He just operates and how He creates stuff. It's amazing.
Absolutely. And if you're the gardening type, you can even take those seeds. You can make you can put it in a pot and some soil and actually have your own.
Yep. My dad used to do that. My wife knows about my dad and his gardening. So like he would take the seeds out of anything and say, I'm gonna plant it. I said, Dad, are you sure? I grew up in Canada, and you can't really grow oranges in Canada because we have about 2 weeks of summer.
It's too cold, right?
Yeah.
And 800 days of winter, so that won't be good.
But just back to the whole gardening thing, you definitely, if you are in an area where you can cultivate some seeds, you can grow your own stuff. Mm-hmm. Save some money. All that stuff is real expensive right now.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Definitely save you a whole lot of money. But it's also fun too. I mean, I find this therapeutic. Cooking in general for me is very therapeutic.
Yeah.
But when you're, doing kind of intricate stuff, and this is not really considered intricate, but just doing stuff like that, it's just really, really fun, and you can have some good music going, just having a great time.
Yeah.
And we're going to do the same thing for we're not going to dice but we're going to cut it into little half moons. So just kind of cut it that way. Is that
that's good.
pretty good size?
Just pretty good. I'll be honest, I don't really like zucchini, but I know it's good for you, or squash. So I eat them because they're good for me.
Gotcha. They are good. As long as you cook them right, I think that'll be really, really good.
Yeah.
So we're going to put the
you put
peppers
that on there.
Okay.
And I'll just piggyback of what Javon just said. If you cook them right.
Yep.
Because some things people don't want to eat just because of how they taste. But if you have the right cook, seasoning your vegetables the right way, that will change your whole life.
Absolutely. It's all about the seasoning. What you won't want to do is under-season anything.
Yeah.
Because that, my friends, would not be good. Put that on the plate there.
And if you hear that beep in the back, our rice is ready for us to check on. So we're going to check on it in a little bit here.
And it's not that anything's on fire, because it's not. So we're actually good.
No fires.
No fires. And we'll do the same thing, but we can cut this in half and just kind of do some half moves with that too.
Yeah.
Still get the same result. And again, you want to try to cut everything relatively the same size.
Yeah.
So you want that even cooking.
So with the green zucchini, not only is it good for sauteing and stuff like that, you can actually grind it up and make a zucchini loaf, kind of like a pumpkin loaf or a banana bread. So one day we'll do a zucchini loaf.
That'd be good. And what's crazy about zucchini, it tastes like banana. Because I had the first time I ever had zucchini bread, I thought it was banana.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, this banana bread is good. And they were like, no, it's zucchini. I'm like, huh? And it tastes really, really good. And lastly, with our onion, and we're probably just going to use half of this. We're just going to go ahead and give this a quick little dice. You want to just fold it around. Cut it right down the middle. And then when you cut it, you're going to have some good even dices of your onion here.
Oh, that's good.
And again, when you get down to the end of it, just kind of cut it, slice it up that way, and you got some more.
It's nice when you dice them up small because, again, going back to the whole thing, a lot of people don't really like onions. Some people love them. Some people won't even eat them. If they eat the food, if they see the onion in the food, they won't eat it.
Right.
So I try to be cautious of your guests and who you're serving. Try to find a happy balance for everybody.
Absolutely. And it's okay to pile your vegetables up because they're all going to go in one pot. You'll be good to go.
Yeah.
There you go. All
And then
right.
our broccoli was already triple washed. It came that way when we purchased it. And the vegetables, of course, we washed before we cut them. So we're gonna just saute this in actually a leek soup mix, which is really nice. So these are some things you could do to save time with your seasoning, and it's delicious. Like that leek, onion, garlic family of aromatics just create intense flavor. So that's what we're going to use to saute our vegetables, and we'll show you that here in a minute.
And I've never had that, so I'm really interested to see what that's going to taste like when everything is incorporated.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
So we just took the rice out of the oven, and as you can see, it is just about done. Not quite.
Oh, my.
Just about.
This looks absolutely amazing. Oh, sorry.
It does. Wow, that looks really good. It's pretty much done. I think we're probably going to let it go back in for maybe 5 minutes more. And what I like to do is I cover it with a aluminum foil, so that also traps it. It smells really good too.
It does. Ooh. All that goodness. Do not eat it, Javon. Do not eat it. Do not eat it.
That looks really good.
It's really, yes, it does.
And see what I was telling you guys about the water element? We didn't add any more water apart from the liquid from the tomato sauce, and let's cook the rice to perfection.
Perfect.
So again, it's pretty much done. We're just gonna put it back in for a few minutes. I don't even think it needs the foil. So today we're not gonna do foil paper on this. We're just gonna put it back in the oven for a few minutes. So we're ready to do our vegetable saute. We're gonna go in with our carrots, bell peppers, and garlic. Just spread it out all around. Smells delicious.
Yep. And what you don't want to do is to burn your garlic, because if you burn your garlic, you're going to have a bitter taste and it's going to ruin the dish. So definitely, you don't want to walk away.
Yeah.
You want to keep your eye on it at all times. And plus with the peppers and the carrots, it's definitely good to do those first, get those sauteed, get those sweated down a little bit. They're the hardest and the longest to cook. So but once everything's incorporated, I think we'll be good. We'll be good to go.
It smells really good, and all it is carrots, peppers, and garlic. There's no salt in there. There's no seasoning.
Yep. With about about a teaspoon of corn oil, if I can say that fast 5 times.
I think we use more like a tablespoon.
Okay. What did I say?
Teaspoon.
Oh yeah. Tablespoon's better.
And of course, with the oil in your saute, you want to not put too much so it's not super oily.
Right.
I think we should get our broccoli in there.
Let's go with another color. Let's go with the broccoli. In there.
And that's the nice thing. You get, like, look at all the color you get. The rainbow.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? Sorry. I got a song for everything. You say something's gonna trigger something and I'm gonna sing about it. Just ask my wife about it. She hates that. She hates that song too, but I love it. It's a story behind it, but we won't go into that tonight.
You're good. You got about 20 seconds.
Nope.
I'll give you 10.
I don't have enough time.
And
It's looking really good.
yeah, I think we should go ahead and throw in our zucchini and squash and onions, and then we're gonna add our flavor and then cover it up.
Look at that melody of goodness right there. Get those onions broken up and incorporated well with the other colors. Just got a beautiful plethora of goodness right here.
Yeah. I personally don't like my vegetables to be soggy. I like a little bit of a crunch to them. Not to break your teeth, but a little crunch.
Right, we want to keep the teeth that we do have.
Yes.
Oh, that is looking really good.
And then let's go ahead and sprinkle our Nor leek soup mix all over it. And I'll say that's about a cup. Or maybe half a cup. Half a cup of the soup mix. And then we're just gonna let it simmer in that.
Oh man, that is really, really good. Get that well incorporated. Wow. Awesomeness.
We're gonna add just a little bit of water in that. Just a little bit, not too much. Because when vegetables start to sweat, they're gonna create their own water.
Definitely from the zucchini and the squash.
Yeah. That looks really good.
Very good. Looking good like it should.
Now let's go ahead and cover it up. Break up all those vegetables so that they evenly cook and are coated well with the spice.
There you go.
And then we're gonna let it simmer about between 5 and 10 minutes, but we're gonna check it so that they don't get super soggy. All right, so here are our vegetables looking lovely. Get a little closer to that.
Oh, that is amazing.
We did taste it not too long ago, and it needs just a little bit of salt. You really want to be careful. So we're just gonna put a little sprinkle. Okay, that's good. Yeah. We have the salt police here. So
That's good.
and too much salt is not good for you anyway.
No, it's not.
Be careful.
No, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. Oh yeah.
I think we're ready to plate it.
Yes.
So the next time you see this, it's going to be in a bowl. Okay, folks. folks, so there you have it. We have our baked seasoned chicken, our Ghanaian jollof rice, and our sauteed vegetables. And I think it looks absolutely delicious.
It looks
What do you think?
amazing. It looks amazing. I just want to dig in right now, but I'm trying to contain myself. So.
I am ready. I am ready to eat this. Father, bless this food, cause it to be nourishment to our bodies. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Good. I like short prayers. So yeah,
Dig in.
going in with the chicken.